Here's a little tip.
From our garden to yours.
You can invite wildlife into your backyard. No, not the big animals maybe, but how about some butterflies? Wouldn't that be nice? They're exciting. They add fun to the landscape. And today our master gardener, Eileen Tungsten, joins us and talk about these great plants that can bring in the butterflies and moths also from time to time. I think maybe we need to start, Eileen, with the life cycle of a butterfly. You know, what does it need? What does it go through?
Right. It's important for the butterfly gardener to understand the 4 stages of the butterfly. First, there's the egg, the caterpillar, the chrysalis, and the adult butterfly.
Yeah. Now, sometimes if we look at a plant leaf, we'll actually see the eggs on there, won't we? And
yes,
we can see
that's
them
right.
skipping through. I see the big swallowtails sometimes coming through on my citrus trees, for instance. And sometimes you'll find the little eggs deposited, which is kind of neat. Now, does it take long for those to hatch out?
No, usually it takes maybe up to 10 days or so.
And all of a sudden you've got the larva stage or the caterpillar. Now,
Right.
I have to tell you that me and a moth just had a go-round. This was the sphinx moth. They're pretty too. They're kind of called hummingbird moths sometimes. And it turned into a big hornworm and it devoured my tomato plant. That did not make me happy.
Oh, no.
Now, the larva stage of the butterfly is going to do the same thing, right?
Right. The caterpillars require host plants, and each type of caterpillar requires a specific host plant. For instance, right here we have Excuse me.
Passion vine, yeah.
Right here we have passion vine, which
Milkweed's
is
below. We'll get to that in a second.
right. And the passion vine is the host plant for the Gulf fritillary and the zebra longwing. And then right here below,
there we go.
We have milkweed, which is the host plant for the queen butterfly and the monarch butterfly.
Monarch butterfly, yeah. People often have these in their yard. Now, they can devastate these plants, right? The larva stage.
Right, and often I hear other gardeners complaining about that, but I find that the milkweed comes right back in a few weeks or so and just regenerates itself.
Same with the passion vine, it does generate itself too.
Right.
Yeah. I know a lot of people are concerned about that. I guess it can get to the point where they can really cause some problems out there. I know I had a parsley plant. I think it was a celery butterfly or something like that. I mean, it decimated it. It was gone. But the interesting thing was that a few days later, that larva stage was gone too. And I figured it must have changed over to the next stage. Is that possible?
Yes, I think so. And that's what I like to think about when I see my milkweed all eaten up. I like to think about the butterfly that's about to develop or is already flying around out there.
Yeah, it goes into the chrysalis stage.
Yes.
Now, where do we find the chrysalis? Do people see them out in the landscape?
Oh, I often find them near my milkweed or passion vine in my garden. Sometimes they'll be hanging right off the plant or just a few feet away, hanging from a trellis. But yes, I find them quite often.
Yeah. Now, Eileen, do I have to have these plants in my landscape, or can I just bring in colorful things? You brought in a lot of colorful things here, too.
Right. Well, it's important to have nectar plants for the adult caterpillar stage. I'm sorry, for the adult butterfly stage.
Yeah.
And so I brought in some samples here today of some nectar plants that butterflies love. We have purple coneflower. Then we have coreopsis, which is Florida state wildflower.
Yeah, this is very pretty. Now, the butterflies are going to come in and they're looking for the nectar, so they're going to visit the flower. Is that correct? As people say anyway.
Right, and they use their proboscis to sip the nectar out.
So if I just have some of these here, then I'll probably bring the butterflies in, but they may not hang around or I may not continue the generation. Is that right? Unless I have these.
Right. You need the host plants and the nectar plants to continue the whole life cycle.
So here's what I hope, Eileen, is that my neighbor has all these things here that they go over and eat on, and I'll just have the pretty plants out there. What do you say? Is that okay?
Well, I like to support all stages of the butterfly's life cycle.
Okay.
So
now
you could do that, I guess.
We've got one other down here. This is really pretty.
Right, this is lantana, and the butterflies just love to sip the nectar out of this plant.
Yeah, that's kind of neat. We have all different kind of variations of this here, but I just like the pretty colors. Now, is it the color, do you think, that brings the butterflies into these things? I mean, I see them coming in for lots of plants.
Right, I think they are attracted to the color, and they are attracted to the smell as well.
So that's kind of neat. Another one I like to put out is pentas because that will
yes.
bring them in also. You can
Yes.
have them. Now there's other things that we can provide for the butterflies, water.
Yes, you can provide a puddle in your garden. This is a water source for the butterflies, and you could use a saucer filled with some pine bark and stones and add water to that, and they'll sip some of the water out of the puddle. It's also important to plant your butterfly garden in full sun. This benefits the plants and the butterflies. And lastly, I'd recommend not using conventional insecticides in or around your butterfly garden.
Thanks, Eileen. Appreciate it very much. If you want more information, you can visit with the Master Gardeners, right? And they'll have that for you. So just call your extension office. And, you know, I'm still hoping I'm going to plant the pretty flowers. Maybe my neighbors will plant the larva food. How about that? I'll do a little bit of each.